Hello and good morning. This is Micah Adler from anyonecanfundraise.com, and I'm excited to be here to take you through a quick walkthrough of the grants module in MPSP so that you can use this to get your grants for the charity or nonprofit. And so let's start. And it's not that difficult. So there's actually a 3-minute video that is provided by Salesforce, which I'll include in the show notes. But beyond that, you really need to understand how to use it in the context of actually getting a grant. And that's what I'll provide you with today. So first, what we're going to do is create a contact who is the manager, grants manager. So Jim Wallace. This is a example, and then we just save it here. So in MPSP, when you create a new contact, it automatically creates an account name, which is a household. So in this case, Jim Wallace works at TD Friends of the Environment. So we're going to make that the primary affiliation. And then he is the grants, actually program manager for the grants. We're going to save it. And then we're going to go to TD Friends of the Environment, because this is where we can create a new grant. And here, we're going to create a new grant. The close date is the date we think that the grant will be awarded or not. And basically what that means is if the grant is due on the 5th, then approximately 3 or 4 months from then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, would likely be the close date, and we can kind of guess. The initial stage is prospecting, so we're just trying to see at this point if there is a grant, and the other ones are letter of intent submission, application submission, withdrawn, and awarded. So let's say right now we're prospecting. The amount of this grant would be $120,000. And then we're going to go from here and save it. So we have created actually a new grant. And what we're going to do is go to that grant. Grants in Salesforce are what we call opportunities. And this is the record that grants use. And you can see prospecting is where we are at. The primary contact you can add in here was Jim Wallace. So we're going to save that. And we're going to look to see if there's any more information. The type of grant is whether it's new or existing. This is new. And then acknowledgement of status is to be acknowledged, and that's what it is right now, but we haven't turned it in, so it's actually not. And then we can write a description and the requested amount, which would be 120,000 here. And then any other information that we can add in, we would, and then we'll save it. The one thing you can do here, I'll show you really quickly. The related list is very important when you're using grants. You can actually create a schedule of payments. So say that they don't give you the 120,000 immediately, they would give it to you over 3 payments. And then you can see over a year. So then we're going to go here, and Salesforce will calculate those payments, that you will receive. And then all we need to do is create payments, and this will be added to the grant here. Then the other thing that you would need to do is deliverables. Deliverables are like milestones. So here in Salesforce, so let's say the deadline for a grant, is for a grant letter of intent is very important, because if you don't complete the deadline, then you won't be able to turn in the grant. And we say it's due on, let's say, the 7th. And that will give us a deliverable. So we have to turn it in by the 7th. And, you just continue on with the big milestones. Another really good way to create tasks, and this is what I like to do, because the tasks for a grant are always the same of what you would need to do. So you can create an engagement plan, which is basically a list of tasks, and you save it. So you have pre-grant engagement plan and then post-grant engagement plan. This is what you need to do before you get the grant. And then if we do a refresh here, you can see all of those tasks that you would need to do here. So you just go through and follow the tasks, starting with 1, 2, and then so on, and to follow through and do what you need to do in regards to the grant. And it's the same every time. And then with grants, one thing that you should really realize is that it's more of turning in a quantity. So if you can turn in more, then you have a better chance of getting a substantial amount of funding. But the first grant, if you do a really good job, that will serve as the foundation for future grants. So that's kind of how I would do it. And yeah, this is how you create a very workable, sort of followable grant plan. And then the way to do the template that I just showed you is the engagement plan templates. If you ever want me to go through this again, I can. You just create a new template. I created this one already, and I'll show you. It's basically a list of tasks. And then you save, and then that list of tasks will automatically populate and show your team what they should do in terms of approaching a grant and getting funding from the government, public, or a private foundation. So yeah, thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions about grants or fundraising or whatever, Salesforce, please let me know, and I would be happy to answer them. My contact information is at anyonecanfundraise.com, and you can contact me at micah@anyonecanfundraise.com. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.